5 to 10.
That is it. That is the literal number of years Jamaica has left before it seriously risks losing its designation as a Christian nation. It's a ticking clock, you guys, and honestly, it is beating very, very loudly. Welcome to This Explainer. I am genuinely so incredibly excited to guide you through today's source material. What we're focusing on today is this massive, radical shift needed to adopt traditional institutions so they can actually reach a demographic that's felt, well, pretty disenfranchised lately, and that's men. We're going to look at exactly what it takes to stop just managing a physical building and start genuinely engaging a community. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the urgent 10-year warning, rethinking the male identity, moving beyond the building, embracing risk and disorder, and finally, those high-value practical takeaways. Section 1. The urgent 10-year warning. The fierce urgency of now. To really wrap our heads around this urgency, we have to look at the 2011 census data. Traditional Christianity has largely stagnated. What we're seeing is mostly just a shifting of alliances between different denominations. But Islam and Rastafarianism, they experienced massive growth. And the truly fascinating detail here is that this growth was specifically among males. It proves that men are profoundly spiritual. They just aren't engaging with our traditional models anymore. And this observation is totally backed up by a chilling scientific study commissioned by Back to the Bible in 2017 and 2018. The lead researcher, Dr. Harney Cole, concluded with a stark warning. He said, unless the church radically shifts how it operates, in another 5 to 10 years, Jamaica is at serious risk of losing its designation as a Christian nation. The study found this massive discipleship gap, and it turns out the vast majority of those who are completely unreached are men. The data absolutely demands an immediate, radical pivot. Section 2. Rethinking the male identity. Understanding the core. So if we actually want to reach men effectively, we first have to deeply understand how they're wired. The source material references Robert Hicks's book, The Masculine Journey. He examines biblical Hebrew words used to define the core characteristics of men as sexual, warrior, wounded, mature, and wise. Institutions have to recognize these specific traits instead of just ignoring them. For example, instead of awkwardly blushing at the word sex, leaders need to address male sexuality honestly. Why? Because the reality out on the street is steeped in it. We also have to create really intentional, safe spaces to address that wounded aspect, a place where men can actually process their past hurts completely free of judgment. But the absolutely crucial point here is how we handle these traits, particularly the warrior spirit. You can't just suppress it, you literally have to harness it. We need to channel that inherent warrior energy into a righteous cause. Think about Martin Luther King Jr. He channeled his fierce warrior nature into a non-violent crusade against an evil system, right? We need to guide men's warrior instincts into positive community action in the exact same way. Men need a purpose to throw themselves into. They need something worth fighting for. Section 3. Moving beyond the building, redefining the space. Now, this reframes our entire definition of success. The pandemic painfully highlighted our fixation on physical buildings. The old model is heavily focused on numbers, formal dress codes, and this sterile, controllable environment inside four walls. But the new model, it is wonderfully messy. It's street level, it's kingdom focused. It happens out under a guenjo tree, on the banks of a gully, or on a street corner. It's all about building deep, authentic relationships right where people actually live. Just picture this for a second, holding a Sunday morning street service right in front of the local shop. Instead of waiting for the community to clean themselves up and walk through your doors, you take the message directly to them. The source shares this incredible anecdote about moving the Sunday service right out onto the street corner. And the reason why is so powerful, it's to directly confront local issues like drugs and gangs in real time, exactly where they're happening. Section 4. Embracing risk and disorder. The incarnational approach. This brings us to what I think is the most provocative and, frankly, the most exciting concept in our source material. The mandate is crystal clear here. The author asks, am I saying that we must be willing to accept risk and disorder? Absolutely, I am saying that we must be willing to accept risk and disorder. It is time to completely abandon the safe, predictable ecclesiastical ghetto. To reach men on the fringes, the roughnecks, the rejected, you literally have to drop the starchiness. Inspired by Brennan Manning's The Ragamuffin Gospel, this is all about taking a truly incarnational approach to your community engagement. So, what does accepting disorder actually look like on the ground? Well, it means fostering a culture where attire is never an indicator of welcome. If someone comes in seeking prayer, wearing jeans and sneakers, or literally half naked fleeing a violent situation, you do not stop them at the door.
You drop the mad competition to dress up. It means accepting men with locks and tattoos completely without judgment. It even means disrupting the service itself, handing men the microphone and giving them the space to openly debate, question, and challenge ideas without forcing them to just sit passively and nod along. Section 5. High-value, practical takeaways. Action over conversation. Grab your notepads because this is where the rubber really meets the road. To truly engage men, you need highly practical, structured strategies. First up is this brilliant fellowship framework called the 3-pack relational model. The idea is that every single man needs to be seated at a table of influence with 3 key relationships. Number 1, a mentor to guide them and pour into their lives. Number 2, a colleague, a true band of brothers for genuine, authentic fellowship. And number 3, a mentee, a younger boy or teen that they can actively guide. This simple structure ensures no man is left isolated, and everyone is an active participant in building each other up.
Now, beyond structured relationships, outreach absolutely must center on shared action. Remember, men generally prefer doing things over just sitting around and talking. We have to erase that false gap between the secular and the sacred. So organize hiking trips or men's community fitness clubs. Tap into what men naturally love. Host a car or bike show at Dover or Portmore. You could establish uniform groups like Scouting, 4-H, or a drum corps to connect with young boys, and utilize the incredible skills of ex-military or police members who are already sitting in your pews. Let men deploy their actual vocational skills, like a mechanic hosting a half-day of free car repairs for the local community, or stage a dramatic play right on the street corner to tackle hard issues like drugs and gangs head-on. Men bond over shared adventures, for sure. All of this requires an absolute willingness to leave the tame, docile, business-as-usual mindset completely in the past. Which leads me to this final provocative question for you to ponder. Is your institution ready to step out of its comfort zone and embrace a little disorder to survive? The clock is ticking, and the urgency is fierce. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it empowers you with the knowledge to radically rethink and revitalize your own organizational structures. Keep learning and keep explaining.